Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the book of Colossians. We're still in chapter 1, today looking specifically at verses 15 and 16. Now, recall in yesterday's session that we began looking at this paragraph in which Paul affirms the wonder of who Jesus is. We saw that the paragraph begins by saying the Son is the image of the invisible God. But then Paul goes on to talk about how Jesus is the creator of all that is. He is the maker of all. Start at verse 15. Now the Son is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For in him all things were created, things in heaven, on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or powers or rulers or authorities, all things have been created through him and for him. Now, Paul makes the affirmation that Jesus is the one who created all. This is his statement that Jesus is fully God. You see, God is the creator. You turn back to Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. But Paul is saying here, Jesus is the creator of all things. Those things in heaven, that's the invisible world, that is the supernatural world, the heavenly host, God created them all. Jesus created them all. Things visible, things on the earth, that is the material world, God created them all. Jesus created them all. So Paul is affirming very clearly that Jesus is fully God, and it is he who made all things. Now you remember, of course, in the book of Genesis, as the story of creation unfolds, God creates by the power of the Word. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light, and on it goes. It is the power of the Word by which God created. And of course, we know from the New Testament that Jesus is the Word of God. Remember, John chapter 1 begins, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." That's an affirmation of Jesus being the Word of God. And so we come to understand that Genesis chapter 1, when it says God created by the power of the Word, that is the agency of the Son involved in creation. Jesus is fully God. He is the creator of all. And this is what Paul is saying. Now, he uses an interesting phrase to describe this. He says he is the firstborn over all creation. Now, at first that intrigues us. What does that mean, he is the firstborn over all creation? There have been some who have put forward a false teaching and to say that, well, that means that the Son was actually created by God. He is the greatest of the creation, but he is part of the created order. That is not what the phrase means. That is a heresy. That is false teaching. So what does it mean when Paul affirms he is the firstborn over all creation? Well, he's already affirmed what that means because he says, in him, for him, by him, all things were created. So Jesus is not part of the created order. He created all. So why does it call him the firstborn over all creation? We have to understand in the biblical sense, the word firstborn can carry the meaning of superiority or primacy. He is primary among all creation. Let me give you an example. If you turn back to the book of Psalms in the Old Testament, Psalm 89, you have a psalm that is talking about David as the anointed king. David became the ideal king, the one after God's own heart. But I want you to notice how David is described in Psalm 89, verse 27. God says of David, "I will appoint him to be my firstborn, the most exalted of the kings of the earth." Now, David is called the firstborn. But yet we know that in David's family, he was not the firstborn. He had several brothers who were older than he was. He was not the firstborn, but he was appointed as firstborn. Also, David was not the first king of Israel. Saul was. And David replaced him, you remember. So what does it mean by firstborn over all the kings of the earth? It means priority or primacy or superiority. So the Bible can often use the word firstborn to communicate that primary place. So, in the book of Colossians, when Paul says Jesus is the firstborn over all creation, what does that mean? It does not mean he was created. Oh no, he is the creator. Now what it means is that Jesus became part of the creation. In the incarnation, he took our humanity upon himself. He became fully man, though still fully God. And as one who is fully man, he has the primacy in all creation. In the incarnation, he becomes part of the created order so that he might save us. But he is primary, he is superior to all else. He is the firstborn, he is the superior one. He is the Son of Man and the Son of God. It is a biblical way of expressing the wonder of the incarnation, that Jesus, who is God, also became man. And thus he was the firstborn. He has the primacy over all creation. So Jesus is fully God, and he became fully man. And as God, who became man, he has come to save us. Now, Paul has more to say, so we're going to keep looking at this paragraph in tomorrow's session as he describes the wonder of who Jesus